Not every motorcycle turns into a bestseller. Some models linger on dealership floors so long that sellers are desperate to offload them. Today, we're breaking down 6 Japanese motorcycles currently being cleared out in droves. Big name, eco, badges, eye-catching designs, but just not enough demand to keep them from gathering dust. Let's jump in. Number 6, Yamaha Bolt R-Spec. When minimalist cruisers began dominating the city streets, manufacturers scrambled to offer the ideal budget-friendly bobber. Riders craved stripped-down aesthetics, a custom-inspired look minus the custom shop prices, and bulletproof reliability that didn't compromise that timeless cool. Yamaha had its sights set on that exact sweet spot with the Bolt R-Spec, a clean, straightforward ride ready for the road straight off the dealership lot. But even with all that promise, it couldn't maintain momentum in a rapidly evolving market. Beneath the bold styling, the Bolt R-Spec packs a 942cc air-cooled V-twin pushing 53 horsepower and 59 lb-ft of torque. Weighing about 540 pounds, it's lighter and more nimble than most heavyweight cruisers. This R-Spec version improves on the standard model by adding rear piggyback shocks, smoothing out the ride over rough pavement. With a seat height of just 30 inches, it appealed to newer riders and those seeking an easy, manageable cruiser. Visually, the Bolt R-Spec gets a lot right. The exposed double cradle frame, compact teardrop fuel tank, and bobbed fenders give it that gritty garage-built aesthetic reminiscent of old-school customs. It has an authentic look that modern cruisers often struggle to capture. If you were buying on looks alone, it definitely delivered, but dig deeper, and the cracks start to show. The first major issue, price. The Bolt R-Spec's base price hovered around $8,600. But once dealer fees, taxes, and accessories came into play, it usually crept closer to $10,000. At that price, buyers started looking elsewhere. Some toward lightly used Harley-Davidson Iron 883s for more badge prestige and aftermarket support, while others stretched a bit more for Honda's Rebel 1100, which brought stronger performance and modern features. And that brings us to strike 2, tech, or the lack thereof. Yamaha kept the Bolt old school. No ride modes, no electronic aids, and ABS wasn't even standard for many years. In a market where entry-level bikes now come loaded with rider aids, the Bolt started to feel more behind the times than classic. On paper, the performance specs are decent, but real-world riding exposed the bike's limitations. That V-twin offers solid low-end pull, but runs out of breath at freeway speeds. The 5-speed gearbox feels tailored for stop-and-go city rides, not for sustained highway cruising, where it lacks overtaking power. It's great for urban commutes, but leaves you wanting more when the road opens up. And then there's comfort. A surprising weak point. The low-profile seat might complement the styling, but on longer rides, it turned into a literal pain point. Riders complained of sore backsides after short stretches, and the mid-mounted pegs didn't help with long-distance comfort. But if you thought Yamaha stumbled, just wait till you see what Honda offered up next. A touring machine nobody really asked for. Number 5, Honda CTX700. In the early 2010s, Honda tried to reinvent the motorcycle concept by blending cruiser-style comfort with commuter-friendly practicality. The result was a daring mix meant for riders who wanted the low-slung stability of a cruiser without all the size, weight, and intimidating character. It aimed to make motorcycling more approachable, especially for beginners or those returning after years away. On paper, it looked like a smart move. In execution, it puzzled the very people it targeted. The CTX700 runs on a 670cc parallel twin engine, producing 48 horsepower and 44 lb-ft of torque. At 478 pounds, it's lighter than traditional cruisers, but still substantial enough to feel planted on the road. The 28-inch seat height made it especially accessible for shorter riders, and the forward foot controls combined with laid-back ergonomics promised stress-free, all-day cruising. Honda even offered an optional dual-clutch automatic transmission, a feature borrowed from its automotive lineup, designed to eliminate gear-shifting anxiety for new riders. Aesthetically, the CTX700 stood out, but not always in the way Honda hoped. Large fairings, a stubby windscreen, and sweeping plastic panels gave it a futuristic, scooter-like silhouette. Honda aimed to create visual heft and wind protection without adding bulk, but the styling ended up confusing both cruiser purists and touring fans. Cruiser enthusiasts thought it looked too tame and plastic, while long-distance riders felt it was too underpowered and small for serious travel. Performance was dialed for smoothness and fuel efficiency, not adrenaline. The engine, borrowed from the NC700 series, had solid low-end torque, but ran out of steam at higher revs. It was fine for city riding and backroad cruising, but left thrill-seekers cold. Even the DCT transmission, while convenient, felt too detached. For many, riders accustomed to traditional manuals found the shifts robotic, missing the tactile joy of gear engagement. The CTX700's launch price was around $7,600, which seemed reasonable. But once you added in features like the DCT, saddlebags, or a taller screen, it easily pushed $9,000 or more. At that point, many opted for bikes offering more conventional cruiser appeal or stronger touring credentials. Ironically, comfort, one of the bike's main selling points, was a mixed bag. The low seat and relaxed riding posture worked great for short rides, but the seat's thin padding and the suspension's limited adjustability made longer trips exhausting. The soft suspension, ideal for smoothing out potholes in the city, felt mushy and vague at higher speeds, robbing the bike of confidence and composure. And if a sluggish Honda wasn't enough of a curveball, up next is a sport bike that looked sharp but missed the target completely in performance, leaving it stuck in the bargain bin. Number 4. Suzuki GSX250R. There was a time when small displacement sport bikes were the gateway drug for new riders, offering just enough speed to thrill without being overwhelming. Suzuki designed the GSX250R with that formula in mind. On paper, it looked like a slam dunk, stylish, manageable, and beginner-friendly. But once it rolled into showrooms, things didn't pan out as hoped. At the heart of the GSX250R is a 248cc parallel twin engine, making 24 horsepower and 17 lb-ft of torque. At 392 pounds, it fits squarely in the lightweight category. Styling takes direct cues from its bigger GSX-R siblings, with aggressive lines, a sharp fairing, and a low-slung stance that screams sporty, even at a standstill. It's supported by a basic telescopic front fork and a rear monoshock. The riding position is upright and easygoing, designed to appeal to daily commuters and weekend warriors alike. At a glance, the GSX250R ticks a lot of boxes. It looks the part, it's easy to control, and it's accessible for those moving up from scooters or entry-level bikes. With a 31-inch seat height and forgiving ergonomics, it's clearly not trying to be a full-blown supersport, but it doesn't take long for the weaknesses to show. Chief among them? Power. With just 24 horsepower, the GSX250R is fine around town, but quickly feels outmatched on highways. Passing traffic requires foresight, and cruising at higher speeds can feel strained. In a market where the Yamaha R3 and Kawasaki Ninja 400 offer close to 50 horsepower, Suzuki's entry struggles to compete. Then there's the tech, or lack thereof. Early GSX250Rs didn't even come with standard ABS, a crucial safety feature for many newer riders. Even when it became available, it was often an extra-cost add-on, making the bike less appealing compared to rivals that included it out of the box. And speaking of cost, it debuted around $4,600, which didn't seem bad, until you tacked on fees and taxes. Suddenly, buyers were spending almost as much as they would on a Ninja 400 or R3, both of which delivered significantly better performance and resale value. Comfort is passable thanks to its upright seating and soft seat, but the budget suspension can't handle rough pavement well. There's no adjustability, so heavier riders or those looking to fine-tune their setup are out of luck. Braking is handled by single discs front and rear, adequate but uninspiring when you consider what's available elsewhere. Number 3. Honda Fury. When Honda made the bold move to release a chopper straight from the factory, it definitely raised eyebrows. Riders had grown accustomed to seeing custom shops build stretched-out frames, exaggerated forks, and wild creations that cost about as much as a modest home. Honda's vision was refreshingly straightforward. Deliver that extended chopper silhouette to the masses, all at a reasonable price point, and backed by Honda's renowned reliability. The Fury debuted with eye-catching aesthetics and a pitch of hassle-free ownership. But even though its design turned heads, sales figures never quite matched the early excitement. Underneath the Fury's radical skin is a 1312cc liquid-cooled V-twin engine that churns out 57 horsepower and 78 lb-ft of torque. That power moves a bike tipping the scales at roughly 663 pounds, stretched across a long wheelbase and seated low to the ground. It's matched to a 5-speed gearbox, channeling torque through a shaft drive, a unique touch in the cruiser segment. Its dramatic rake, slim front tire, and striking lines gave it the presence of a custom machine. In many respects, the Fury succeeded in design. The proportions worked, the frame-mounted radiator kept things tidy, and the flowing line from tank to fender looked stunning in photos. For those who had always dreamed of owning a chopper but were put off by sky-high prices or the thought of wrench-heavy upkeep, the Fury seemed like a dream alternative, at least at first. The issues arose when riders started weighing the Fury not against custom one-offs, but against other cruisers. In its price range, starting at about $11,500, it landed right in the middle of a hotly contested segment. Buyers began asking tough questions. Why settle for a mid-displacement V-twin when just a few thousand more could get you a brand new Harley Softail Standard or even a gently used Harley Breakout? Despite Honda's solid reputation, the brand lacked the cruiser world prestige that Harley proudly carried. Performance expectations also put a dent in the Fury's image. While 57 horsepower works fine for laid-back cruising, many expected more bark from a bike that looked this aggressive. Twist the throttle and you'll feel ample low-end torque, but don't expect the Fury to lunge forward like the bigger displacement American V-twins. With ground clearance also being limited, this bike ends up looking quicker than it actually rides. Comfort, too, came with trade-offs. Its long reach to the bars, 26.5-inch low seat height, and forward controls created a stretched-out posture. That looked undeniably cool, but often left riders complaining of sore shoulders and lower back fatigue after even modest distances. Combine that with minimal suspension travel, and rough roads quickly become unpleasant. Today, you can still find brand new Fury units collecting dust at dealerships, usually parked behind more in-demand models like the Rebel 1100 or the Goldwing. Although the Fury still commands visual attention, it remains a niche machine in a market that increasingly favors utility and all-around value. Sure, the Fury turns heads, but the next motorcycle proves that even a well-known adventure nameplate can lose ground when competition catches up. Number 2. Suzuki V-Strom 1050. Adventure bikes have surged in popularity for good reason. Riders want one bike that can do it all: tour long distances, handle light off-road work, and manage daily commutes with ease. Suzuki was ahead of the curve, launching the original V-Strom lineup in the early 2000s. Known for being durable and adaptable, the V-Strom carved out a name in the ADV segment. So when the V-Strom 1050 arrived, expectations were understandably sky high. Under the bodywork is a 1037cc V-twin engine that produces 106 horsepower and 74 lb-ft of torque. Weighing in around 545 pounds, the bike finds a middle ground between stability and agility, key traits for an adventure tourer. The 1050 rolls on a 19-inch front and 17-inch rear wheel configuration that leans more towards street and gravel use rather than hardcore dirt paths. It features an upright, comfy riding stance with plenty of legroom, a broad handlebar, and an adjustable windscreen for better long-distance ergonomics. Suzuki added a robust electronics package with multi-mode traction control, hill hold assist, slope-dependent braking, and cruise control. The XT variant upped the rugged appeal with spoked wheels and extra protection. On paper, it looked like Suzuki had brought the V-Strom platform up to speed, ready to challenge Honda, Yamaha, and BMW. But once you dug deeper, it became clear the 1050 wasn't hitting all the marks. Mechanically sound? Yes, but its tech features felt behind the curve. Its small, plain LCD screen felt more like a leftover from 2010 than something befitting a nearly $15,000 adventure bike. Rivals like the Africa Twin or Yamaha Tenere 700 came equipped with better tech, greater off-road capability, and in many cases more appealing price tags. Another issue was its awkward placement in the market. It straddled categories without fully excelling in either. Too street-biased and heavy to be a proper dirt warrior, but also not refined enough to satisfy touring-focused riders who wanted big fairings and creature comforts. The engine itself was smooth and dependable, but it didn't stir the soul. Riders noted that while it's fast enough for daily needs and road trips, it lacks the immediacy and punch of more modern twin-cylinder competitors. All of that led to the V-Strom 1050 becoming a tough sell. Many dealerships are still struggling to move units as fresher, better-equipped models continue arriving from other brands. Riders loyal to the original V-Strom are trading in their bikes for lighter, cheaper, or more off-road capable options. And that brings us to number 1, a brand new release that shocked everyone with how quickly it found itself on clearance shelves. Number 1, Yamaha R7. When Yamaha revealed the R7, anticipation was through the roof. With the beloved R6 retired, enthusiasts were desperate for a new middleweight sport bike to carry the torch. The idea seemed like a home run. Deliver a track-inspired machine that's also street-friendly, packed with sharp styling and engineering upgrades, without a bank-breaking price tag. At first glance, the R7 checked all those boxes. Powering it is a 689cc parallel twin engine sourced from the MT-07, good for 74 horsepower and 67 lb-ft of torque. This engine is praised for its bulletproof reliability, punchy mid-range, and low maintenance costs. Weighing just 414 pounds wet, the R7 is impressively light and responsive, with a tight, aggressive riding triangle that mimics bigger supersports. Yamaha gave it high-end bits like a fully adjustable inverted front fork, a slipper clutch, and a stiff chassis designed for both canyon carving and track fun. From the outside, the R7 nails the visual game. Its sharp body lines, dual LED headlights, and minimalistic tail section scream R-Series. It even mimics the R1 silhouette, giving it big-time curb appeal. With a short 23.7-degree rake and compact wheelbase, it promises lightning-quick handling. But the moment you swing a leg over and twist the throttle, cracks begin to show, especially for those hoping it could replace the R6. While quick and agile, the R7 doesn't deliver the same frantic, high-revving thrill that made the R6 an icon. Instead, it pulls hard in the middle but runs out of steam higher in the rev range, missing that addictive surge to redline that defined four-cylinder screamers. The ergonomics, while great for track sessions, are harsh in real-world use. Low clip-ons and high rear sets lock the rider into a tucked position that's fun for short bursts but uncomfortable for daily use. The seat, firm and narrow, only adds to the fatigue, putting pressure on wrists, back, and shoulders. Then there's the pricing problem. With a sticker price around $9,100, the R7 sits in a tricky middle ground. It's much costlier than entry-level sport bikes like the Ninja 400 or Yamaha R3, yet it doesn't offer the raw speed or brand prestige of the leader-class supersports. For buyers in that 10K range, expectations are steep, and many started questioning whether they should save money with a friendlier bike or spend a little more and go big. So, would you consider picking up an R7 if it's discounted, or do you think it's still not worth the investment? Let us know in the comments. And if you're into deep dive breakdowns like this one, don't forget to subscribe for more.